Media-based group Independent Media and Policy Initiative says the proposed tax reform laws are necessary to set a country with one of the lowest GDP ratios in Africa on the path of inclusive growth. At a news conference in Abuja, the group backs the tax bills and seeks understanding from those opposed to the initiatives. TVC News Adiksa reports.
There is still so much concerns raised over the 4 tax bills proposed by the Tinubu administration to reform Nigeria's tax system, but the federal government continues its sensitization of the populace, and particularly those yet to understand some clauses in the bills. This non-governmental group is one of the many that have openly shown support for the bills. The Independent Media and Policy Initiative (IMP) has reviewed the bills and believes that as acts of the parliament, they will transform Nigeria into a beehive of economic activities, especially in the gas subsector. It is convinced Nigeria's gross domestic product (GDP) will increase from 10.86% to a record high.
The multi-dimensional benefits of this new development in the downstream sector of Nigeria oil industry to the economy are not quantifiable. We are projecting that 2025 will be a good year for domestic refining for the country, so much so that a huge chunk of foreign exchange will not only be saved, but also be earned from refined crude oil products.
The reforms, as contained in the bills, are pivoted on 3 functional pillars of critical growth drivers. These are revenue generation, enterprise development, and enhancement of citizens' purchasing power. The group also speaks on the worry expressed by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, over TED Fund finances. It says TED Fund became a specialized agency because enough allocation was not directed at research and innovation. It calls on the agency and ASU not to exercise any form of fears.
TED Fund became a specialized agency because of the fear that enough allocation are not being directed at universities.
Ahmed Sajo is a former commissioner in Adamawa State. He is from the part of the country where controversy has trailed the proposed laws. Mr. Sajo allays all fears, insisting the bills are inclusive and won't impoverish any part of the country.
When I was growing up, we had a Tumsa factory in Maiduguri and we had another factory in Kano where they produced shoes, bags, belts and others. If they could only learn to begin to add value to the products we have, they will not even quarrel about value addition, value added tax or any other tax for that matter, because the North is rich.
IMP says the taxable segments of the economy, as contained in the bills, indicate a likelihood of driving the nation's tax to GDP ratio to a minimum of 16%. Adiksa, TVC News, Abuja.